Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, November 17th, and you're listening to the Daily AI Show live. Here we are live in front of you. Welcome, and today's topic is about AI video generation. And there's a range of different applications you can think of for video, ranging from, the skillful creation of interesting content that can be then loaded onto YouTube, TikTok, and elsewhere, Reels on Instagram, etc. Also, in Junmi's ballpark, the creation of video from text prompts for story generation and entertainment. I think that's an interesting angle, but also for corporate training and development, generating video with avatars. We're missing our avatar specialist today, Aaron Malik. So we're going to try to fill the gaps on that one. But he's really at the cutting edge, the leading edge of use of avatars in corporate video and or instructional video. So let's kick it off. I'm going to turn it over to either one of you to enter into the first segment here.
Okay.
Junmi, what you got?
Yeah,
I got some stuff to talk about, but
all right.
thing.
I'll cover some of the things that jumped out to me over the last couple of weeks, or specifically in the last week, and I didn't really cover any of these in the Wednesday show. So one of the big things to come out in the AI video realm is Runway's new announcement for Motion Brush. And so this will be a tool that
let me interject. I'm going to coach you to tell people who don't use or know Runway what's special about Runway even before Motion Brush, and then what does Motion Brush add?
Yeah, I'll say that Runway is probably one of the premier or lead companies in AI video. They have a whole assortment of tools, and it's all been tools that help you edit or manipulate video or film. We're talking like green screen, object removal, all of these kinds of things that make an editor's life much easier, right? Then they went into the generative AI zone and came out with Gen 1 a little while ago, which would be your prompt or instruction would turn into images and video. A few months ago, they released Gen 2, which has been a huge leap forward in the quality and capability of generative AI video. And as part of that suite, they recently announced Motion Brush. And what this essentially covers is, much like a Photoshop brush, you can just draw on the image what you want animated, what you want to add motion. So yeah, so if you've seen their if you've seen their post, this is like getting clouds to move or getting a vehicle to move and things like that. So very exciting. Really hoping to get my hands on that as soon as they release it to the public. And
let me interject and say that in looking at news around GPTs that are being created out there, one of the GPTs that I think Matt Wolf elevated to attention was one where you put in a series of images and it then sends it over to Runway and gives you back a streaming video of animations that sort of link those images together. So
yes,
that's going to be very interesting if you can animate a whole series of things. Imagine taking a stop motion kind of approach to that, and then getting Runway to smooth it all out so that it's not as jerky as you might see in stop motion animation.
Well, that's a really good point, and that's a great analogy, because in animation, whether it's traditional 2D or 3D animation or whatnot, you have so many frames, right? So in traditional 2D animation, you could even get those frames down to like 12 frames a second. Just in comparison, standard 35 millimeter film is 24 frames a second. Most of the stuff we're seeing now is 30 or 60. frames a second in video. So if you have that tech that allows you to basically cut out a bunch of those frames, that just means so much less frames for processing, saving time, and you're able to produce faster, right? And time is money in video production. Well, time is money in everything, but yeah, but the point is that that's a fantastic analogy. It is very similar to that, and that's kind of the runway process is using generative AI to fill in those spaces. And so motion blur just seems to be that ability to identify segments of an image or an image sequence and animate, right? And add motion to that section as opposed to an entire image. So again, they just announced it. We don't really know terribly a lot about it, but I'm really hoping to get my hands on it.
So I'm glad you mentioned the term segments here, because one of the other things that can be done to add motion or interesting depth to a still image is I've seen demonstration, and I don't know which tool is doing this, where you take an image, it then identifies all the different parts and figures out from its AI training what the layers of the depth of field are. And then it moves the ones that are closest to you more than the ones that are in the back, and gives you a very realistic 3D rendering of whatever that still flat 2D image was.
Well, that's actually a really good example of things that they're rolling out in all of the products. So Adobe's got their version that they released that they're adding to their products, right? Part of their Adobe Sensei suite. You can kind of do that in Canva as well. Canva's got their own implementation. They have a foreground and background kind of thing. And what I've noticed is a lot of these AI tools and these features in particular are identifying the repetitive or mundane tasks of image manipulation or video manipulation, right? And so they're answering those particular needs. I mean, that's probably low-hanging fruit, but getting it out there and to be adopted, like it's almost irrelevant for some of the tool features, whether it's AI generated or it's AI powered to be able to do these things. Those are things that are just in the background, right? These are just processes that happen in the background. So I think you'll definitely see that trend. If it's like, oh, I need to remove these, people in the background of this image, every Photoshop editor does that, like hundreds of times. It's like, oh, okay, that shouldn't be there. Photo touch-ups, it's that kind of thing. It's just all part of a product's, MVP or their path or things like that. Now, speaking to that, I actually missed this a couple of days ago, but Meta released their video model, their text to video model.
Emu, yes.
Emu, yes. And I was really surprised this didn't come across my desk, but
they didn't release it like you could.
Announced, I should say, they announced.
Yes.
Yeah, they announced Emu.
They had a previous video tool called Make a Video, which I guess wasn't very impressive. But I read a little blurb to you, Junmi, before the show that 96% of users of Make a Video thought that Emu was far better. Well, what does that mean exactly? But we'll see when we see Emu.
Yeah, and who asked? Like, what is the?
But just to go into a little bit detail for Emu is it provides two things. One, text to video, right? So similar to a runway or along those lines, you can use your text instruction, your text prompt to instruct a video to be made from that prompt. But what's also included in there is the ability to edit, image editing. So since these are since they're announcing them as foundational models for this, we may see additional tools that build up upon Emu, right? Just outside of the ecosystem and take advantage of the technology itself. So that's super exciting for me, anyways. We've had text-based editing in video features like Descript or other tools like Opus and Capwing and all of these other video editing tools. And so, but what this allows you to do is to edit the image itself just by your instructions, by giving it prompts, by changing the text prompts and things like that, which is more in line with, you know, Photoshop and those kinds of things. So we'll see how well they do, but this is exciting for the for film and video side of things. If you can get the editing down, that would save tons of time.
So Beth, can you talk to, you probably have something you want to talk about, but I do want you to talk, instead of Aaron, I want you to talk about the video clone avatar of yourself and its application in AI generated videos at some point in this session.
Sure, I'm happy to talk about that. And I have an exciting thing that I found. The video avatar basically is something that you upload, either a picture of yourself or perhaps a short video of yourself, and it clones your voice and your likeness. So then it makes an imprint, right? Like Beth imprint. And then I can upload me, my actual voice talking, and it will match the video so that it looks like the video lip syncs what my actual audio does. Or I can upload some text and it can then create a video of me speaking the text, again, from my imprint. One of the things that's really exciting about that is that it can also translate that in a bunch of languages. And so now it looks like I'm speaking the text in Spanish as a relatively native Spanish speaker, or in French. I believe when it first came out, it was either definitely French Canadian or definitely not French Canadian. But of course, like all of these things have regional differences as well. And my understanding is that project was a pet project of one of the developers in a big organization. It was like, oh, cool. I wonder if this can happen. And then everybody thought that it was amazing because, of course, Imagine Your Content can now go out to in a ton of languages, and you can expand your audience. Yeah.
You got an army of hosts who can deliver your messages. So this capability with avatars is most applicable, I think, to corporate training and internal communications, and it could also extend ultimately to Marcom, right? So marketing communications, where key spokespeople for your company could be represented by this avatar. It's a 3D model. It's very articulate and matches you in very, very, amazingly similar ways. No hesitations, no, lip miscues and all that other sort of stuff. So I'm excited about that.
And that program is called HeyGen, and they had a big YouTube session a couple months ago when the new version of HeyGen was starting to be shown. I don't know if it's available to everybody yet. And part of their sign-up process was that you got a personalized response back. So the founder of HeyGen said, cool. "Hey, Beth, so glad you're going to be attending the thing," right? So there was an automatic. These are still really resource intensive. So only the founder of HeyGen, I think, is in a position to be able to give personalized name videos.
What you mean is it would be expensive to generate that many video.
And really resource intensive. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to flip. This is something I found last night when I was preparing for the show, but there is something called Neural Frames, neuralframes.com, that
Mhm.
creates a music video um, in relation to the music that you have uploaded. Now, it's for traditional or computerized music, right? So it's I say traditional music because I have a group that sings a cappella, and this this pulls out or identifies the snares and the kick drum and the like that kind of stuff. So my music doesn't have that because I'm not using instruments. And I did not have time. I've not uploaded something. I don't have something to show, but if I do, I will definitely show it in a future show. But one of the things that's exciting about this is that not only does it pull the sections of your music out, so now what you're looking at in the video maker is a track, right? Like you're looking at the tracks that are that it's pulled, right, for the duration of your music. So it's a multi-track video generator, because then you can have different things. You can put a text to video prompt in a certain section of the track and say, I want a red, green, I want what? I should have more words than this. I want a holly tree growing in time with my kick drum, right? Like I want each spurt in growth to adapt to that. And then later on, okay, I don't want it to be a holly tree now. I want a Jesus. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So
I want a
Jesus would
flowering
be
bush, right? Like
Jesus would be dancing to the music. Okay. I got
Gotcha. Yeah.
but you can do that with each level of the track of the music. You can also make really, really simple stuff. It's there are a couple uses that it suggests, and one of them is like hypnotic vibe, right? Big changes, it can just be sort of visualization. But it has real potential, and it's using Stable Diffusion, and you can build your own model for it, right? So you can like tune your own thing and then have a series, then that's like what your music puts out. Or you have done this for a brand, you have a particular brand,
Right.
color scheme kind of video, so that when people look at it, they know it's you.
Right.
So.
That is super interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. And so their model is more about matching imagery and tone to your audio, right? To your audio track. That's where that power is. Or is it and they're allowing you to do text to video prompting? Is that both features there?
That is both features, and
that's awesome.
yeah.
Do they have export options? Like, can we like export to different types of, well, I mean, not just the file themselves, but to other projects? Like, could I bring that into something like Audition for the audio part? Or could I bring that into Premiere for to recognize it as separate tracks, like using XML or whatever it is?
I don't think so, but it is also new and in development. But but unlike Emu, you can get in, you can do the free plan and play with it. It's monthly billing. There is no annual billing. So like you can do the most expensive, which is unlimited for $99 for a month, and like go at see what it can do, like do the stuff, and then change to another plan once you've got your set. I thought it was really exciting. So neuralframes.com, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's a great one.
What I want to do quickly, because we talked about HeyGen and Aaron Malak, our colleague who is really expert with this. Just can we put up his LinkedIn thread that actually shows those, so that people in the audience can actually link through to or find that and see a demonstration of Aaron. You'll see him as we see him live, but it's actually generated by an AI. It does this multiple demonstrations. I don't know if either one of you can get that up there, but
so Jimmy, I'm going to say, can you do that?
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
have
for it.
something I can share, and I
cool.
hope that it works. So if I share my screen, and I'm going to share the window, and I'm going to do that. Share a tab on the screen instead. Okay.
All right. I actually don't see that thread of posts on his LinkedIn, so we'll have to check with him on that. But we can go into some examples of the tools. So,
yeah.
Sure.
So,
we can. Yeah.
So let me share this. This is made in Runway. So this is a series. This is what Andy was talking about. This is a series of photographs that were taken that are animated in between in Runway. And the guy who made this is a master. But
wow. What we're seeing is what is apparently a series of quite short, like half-second animations of images that were originally still images, but they look like camera moves and changes in the actual elements of the images. People who were in one position ending up in another position. Really, really impressive.
okay, and these are from, I believe, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art.
Soma?
So
Museum.
Yeah, San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. His name is David Villalba. So also just, now you can see that. So let me stop sharing. You can find him on X, as you just saw on my screen. My understanding is that he has a background in film, and as in all of the things that we've talked about in terms of applying AI, if you have expertise in an area, you're like heads and shoulders above people who are just starting out.
That's true.
But
yeah, and that actually brings me to the main question that we proposed in for this for today's show. Is it ready for prime time? Right. So, like Beth said, with everything in AI, if you have expertise in that field that you're trying to apply the AI, you will have a distinct advantage in the quality and quantity of output and things like that. That being said, do I think these tools are ready for prime time? Well, that's a little difficult question. I think that example that you showed, Beth, is it's a fantastic example of where the technology is in terms of generative AI video. It's very specific. We're talking about short scenes here, right? Cutting between different imagery, different subjects, things like that. And I'm sure that video was made to explore those kinds of things.
Right. And the full video is only 1minute 17 seconds long, right?
Exactly. And that's what I was trying to get to, is these tools right now for video, very short outputs, right? These are great examples. You would have to do an immense amount of work to make a feature film, which is, anything that's over 60 minutes, averaging 90 minutes long. And so if like Runway is outputting at 30 seconds a clip at the top end, it's going to take a while to put these kinds of things. So is it ready to make full feature films like we're seeing in the theaters today? No way. That's not what's there. Is it ready to make very experimental, or the music video angle and things that might be surreal or abstract? Absolutely. I think that is a great way to showcase its technology.
Right.
Now, from the artist side of things, whatever tool you have access to, go ahead, please. I encourage you to make it. For our business applied side of audience, do I think it's ready to be in to replace film and video or anything like that as content? No. Can it enhance? Do you want to show capabilities? Do you want to include a bit of that into your larger project, or other technologies that you're using, maybe traditional filmmaking? Totally. But it's not a, oh, we have this now, we don't need this anymore. We're
Right.
nowhere near that. The amazing parts that I like to focus on in AI and in film and video is the amount of time saving for the individual artist, whether you're an editor or you're a VFX artist or anything like that. The amount of time you save when you're doing your work is really what I like to focus on, these
Right.
AI tools. If Motion Brush allows me to add motion, or help me do a composite, or any of those kinds of tools when I'm working on a video, I think that's definitely someplace that I want to go. And
Right.
so to answer, is it ready for prime time? I think not as a replacement, but an enhancer to whatever your existing workflow is.
Right. And we've I think we've sort of brushed on this a little bit, but I think actually marketing is the current real wheelhouse for a bunch of
Mhm.
things. And just to point out one of the things that you sort of brushed on, the amount of time that it takes to make a video is at which kind of equals the amount of money you're going to spend to make a video
Right.
is proportional to how complex it is. So the music video tends to just have little tiny shifts in
Mhm.
between the main image that's happening, like it's doing sort of a pulsing growth or doing something like
Right.
that. That's also a little bit what Emu showed
Mhm.
when if you go to their demo, they have already created actions, like 6 actions that your thing can do, 6 characters that your thing is, and 6 environments where it is, right? And
Mhm.
so all of those pieces have already been generated. And so what it's doing on the fly as you change these things is, oh, and I don't even know it's on the fly, but what it's doing on the fly as you change these things is it's just rendering that piece. But as I'm saying that out loud, no, they've rendered all the variations of this. What it's doing on the fly is just switching which stream you're looking at.
Right. Right.
Okay, so I have a fanciful notion to put forward, and I want to ask you guys, what's the best tool for parents to do a little animated video from text for their kids, which actually has a script that is going to speak to their children? It's going to be animated characters, simple ones, not the end of the spectrum where AI is replicating you in photorealism, which is HeyGen,
Mhm.
but really something that's fanciful and fun that you can play with right today.
So
Hmm.
the fact that you said characters makes that more complicated. You could do something, and maybe it's HeyGen, I'm sorry, I don't know, but somebody has a talking photo. And so, um, you could conceivably do a story, right, from a character that is human based. Um, You guys know that I create the creatures that don't quite look human, and I have not found a successful solution to
videos.
animate those.
I must have imagined it then, because I remember, and there's such a fire hose of new tools being announced all the time. And I think I recall seeing something like what I described, which is a simple, animation. It could even be like, stick figures, but it's better than that, right? The video generator did something better than that. And you could basically script what the action was and what the messaging was and the voicing of that. I hate to use the word character. It sound like that was a problem.
Right. So there are tools like that. There's a lot of little tools that came out, and you're fond of saying there's an AI for that. So there's one called Storybook AI, and then a couple others down those lines. I can't attest to the quality, so I can't give you a best way to do that, or what's the most popular one or anything like that. But combining AI generated imagery or AI generated video based off of those imagery prompts, and then adding a story to it. There's a number of tools that do that. If you want to get a little more hands-on, you can make a custom GPT that will totally do that. You can have the DALL-E aspect of or feature of GPT or of OpenAI generate the image, and you can have it generate the story, and then you can send I believe
that too.
Yeah, and then you can feed that to whatever for tool you want. I recently saw that Canva has a custom GPT. Don't know this, but theoretically, if you can send your image off to Canva, they can process it through Runway, and then send it back, depending on if you have that action.
That's right.
But
and that was part
Canva
of their
and
announcement.
Are joined at the hip, right?
Yeah, they have a partnership. Yeah, so you can do Runway processing through your Canva project.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It was part of OpenAI's announcement of DALL-E that there were these, the DALL-E Hedgehog, had simple things with a story, and then that was animated, but it is not a part of the DALL-E function or any OpenAI functions that I'm aware of.
Yeah, you definitely need to do an additional step. Greg. I just wanted to highlight that we're all eager to get Greg onto the show. You're right, Greg. Kapwing is one of those AI video editors. A lot of the text to video that exists now, whether it's be Kapwing or Pictory or Lumen 5 or any of those kind of tools, is they'll analyze the text or the script or the blog that you provided and then generate a video off of it. These are very simple videos. They'll choose all the imagery. These are for no face video channels on YouTube and TikTok and things like that. It's a great way to get narration or overdub onto a subject. But I don't think those are quite there yet for integration or replacing.
Nothing sophisticated, but first applications of some of the more advanced technologies are just fanciful toys. And so I encourage everyone who's listening to this to play around with some of those. Go to There's an AI for that and see what you can do for text to video. That would be the right term to search for. Well, we are exactly out of time, and thank you everyone for listening along, and come join us next week. We're here Monday through Friday. Even on Thanksgiving Day, we are going to be doing a special show. We don't know how special it's going to be.
Very special.
Oh, it's very special. That's right. So Thanksgiving, it'll be Thanksgiving themed. Gratitude is going to be a part of it. Imagery will be a part of it. We're going to share some beautiful pictures, I think. So anyway, thanks for joining us. See you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Aloha.
Bye.
Yep, one of you guys has to do the out.